I will say this, and I think it'll surprise people. The fact that his bond...
Hold on, sir.
What's
I have to stop you with the camera because I can see you. So do me a favor, don't pull it out again. It's not about winning over people. It's about telling as much of the truth as we have.
It was supposed to be just another fiery morning on the set of The View, bright lights, a buzzing crowd, and the hosts diving into the day's hottest headlines. The energy was sharp, the cameras locked on, and everyone was ready for a typical mix of heated debates and witty banter. But then, something unexpected happened. While the conversation rolled on, tension quietly crept in. All eyes were on the panel, yet one pair of eyes on stage caught something off in the crowd. Right in the middle of the discussion, the smooth rhythm of the show cracked like glass. One of the hosts suddenly froze mid-thought, her focus shifting from the table to somewhere beyond the stage lights. Her gaze narrowed. There it was, a flicker of light from the audience. A small screen held up, recording. It was quick, sneaky, and out of place.
And as you are stunned, so are we.
You should be angry. And, I will say this, and I think it'll surprise people. The fact that his bond...
Hold on.
The show runs under strict rules, and everyone knows it. No outside recording during live tapings. And yet, someone had decided to test the limits, aiming their phone at the stage like it was their own personal set. And then, it happened. She stopped the entire show. The room fell silent as her voice cut through the air, sharp and clear. By the way, before we continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow and share more intriguing stories. Now, let's continue. Her tone was calm, but it carried weight. Put the camera down and don't pull it out again. The audience froze, stunned by what they had just witnessed. This wasn't part of the plan, and it definitely wasn't part of the script.
I have to stop you with the camera because I can see you. So do me a favor, don't pull it out again. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. What was he doing? Recording. Oh.
I like to be as surprised as you all are when I come back to work.
The tension was thick, hanging in the air like a silent alarm. Just moments before, Sunny Hostin had been passionately talking about Donald Trump's ongoing legal battles, building up her point with the kind of fiery energy the show is known for. But that fire was snuffed out in an instant when the interruption cut through like a siren. All eyes were no longer on the panel's debate. They were locked on the host who had just slammed the brakes on live television. The chatter stopped. The laughter stopped. Even Sunny paused mid-sentence, her words dangling in the air, unfinished. You could see the confusion flicker across her face for a split second before she realized what had happened. And the person holding the phone? Their face flushed as every single spotlight might as well have turned on them. The crowd shifted in their seats, some gasping, others leaning forward as if they didn't want to miss a second of what might happen next. The energy of the room had completely transformed. Gone was the playful morning show vibe. In its place was a kind of courtroom silence, the kind where everyone holds their breath, waiting for the verdict. The show had stopped, and all because someone thought they could secretly film it. The host's words cut clean through the tension like a blade. Do me a favor, don't pull it out again. That was it. Short, sharp, and final. She didn't raise her voice, but the way she said it made it clear this wasn't up for debate. For a moment, no one even moved. The cameras were still rolling, the lights still blazing, yet it felt like time had frozen in that studio. Then, as if the spell had broken, the crowd shifted back in their seats. A few nervous chuckles slipped out from the audience, like people weren't sure if they were allowed to laugh. The host gave a small nod, thanked the person, and turned her focus back to the table, but the energy hadn't quite recovered. Everyone at the table seemed a little stunned, their usual rhythm cracked open by the shock of what just happened. It wasn't just about someone breaking the rules. It was the way she spotted it so fast, the way she took control of the moment, like she had done this 100 times before. The show didn't have security rushing in or producers cutting to commercial. She handled it herself, right there on live TV, in front of millions. The audience might have expected heated debates, maybe even a political clash or two. What they got instead was something far more raw, a reminder that even in a tightly controlled show, anything can happen. And what made it even more shocking was how casually she slid right back into the conversation, as if nothing had happened. But everyone knew something had. The sudden stop had left the crowd wide-eyed, the hosts a little shaken, and the air thick with adrenaline. This wasn't just an awkward hiccup, it was a full stop, and it showed how quickly she could shift from calm to commanding in a heartbeat. The funny part? The moment had unfolded during the Hot Topics segment, the part of the show known for bold debates and wild energy. Viewers tune in expecting sharp takes and fiery clashes, not someone getting called out in front of a live studio audience for breaking the rules. That contrast made the whole scene hit even harder. And while the discussion about Trump's legal battles tried to resume, no one was really listening anymore. The hosts spoke, but the words hung in the background like faint static. Every eye in that studio, every bit of attention, was still anchored on what had just gone down. The shock was real because no one saw it coming. It was unscripted, raw, and completely outside the usual flow of the show. One second it was politics as usual, the next, the entire production was on pause, controlled by a single sharp command. It wasn't just a warning, it was a power move, and the entire room felt it. This wasn't the first time she had taken command like that either.
Here, guys, we do cover climate. Ladies, excuse us. Let us do our job.
She has a history of shutting down chaos when it breaks loose, and anyone who's followed the show knows it. One of the most infamous moments happened back in 2022 during a live interview with Senator Ted Cruz. The interview had started like any other, sharp questions flying, Cruz firing back with confident answers, the panel ready to dig in. But then, out of nowhere, loud chants exploded from the audience. Protesters stood up and started shouting about climate change, their voices drowning out every word Cruz tried to say. It wasn't just background noise, it was loud, echoing, relentless. You could see the co-hosts tense up, unsure how to respond. Cruz kept trying to talk over the shouting, but it was impossible. And then she stepped in.
The United States, inflation has one cause and one cause only. It's just last year, the federal government took in $4 trillion in tax revenues. Most money in history we've ever taken in. The problem is we spent nearly...
Calm but firm, her voice cut through the chaos with surgical precision. Ladies, excuse us. Let us do our job. It was the same commanding energy everyone had just seen in the studio today. She didn't yell. She didn't argue. She simply took control. Told the protesters they had to leave, and within moments, they were gone. The set went from chaos back to calm, like she had flipped a switch.
Here, guys, we do cover climate. Ladies, excuse us. Let us do our job. Let us do our job. We hear what you have to say, but you gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta let us do our job.
They weren't even protesting you.
You gotta let us do our job.
That day showed everyone something important. When things spiral, she doesn't wait for backup, she becomes the backup. Even Ted Cruz had looked caught off guard that day, pausing mid-sentence as security guided the protesters out. He tried to keep speaking, but the power shift in the room was obvious. She had taken back control with just a few words. The other hosts sat quietly, watching her handle it like it was just another part of her job. What made it so unforgettable was how relentless the protesters had been. They weren't just making noise, they were trying to derail the entire interview, shouting about inflation and government spending, while Cruz attempted to talk about taxes. Their chants ricocheted through the studio, making it impossible for anyone to hear the discussion. Yet she didn't let the chaos rattle her. She stood firm, repeating her words with the same steady tone, telling them they had to let the panel do their job. No yelling, no panic, just pure authority. The moment the protesters were removed, the studio fell silent, like the air had been vacuumed out of the room. It was a glimpse into how she operates when things get messy. She doesn't ask for permission or wait for someone else to handle it. She steps forward, sets the boundary, and restores order in seconds. That same force had just echoed through the studio again, only this time aimed at a single audience member holding up a phone. And after that chaos with Cruz, she made something else clear. She wasn't just protecting the flow of the show, she was protecting her crew.
It's not about winning over people. It's about telling as much of the truth as we have.
She reminded everyone that the team works hard to make everything run smoothly, and interruptions don't just distract the hosts, they throw the entire production off balance. She even said it herself. They hear what people have to say, but there's a time and place for it, and Live TV isn't the place to hijack. Once the protesters were escorted out, she told the audience they had to let the panel do their job. Her tone wasn't angry, it was firm, like someone laying down rules they expect everyone to follow. What struck people was how she didn't make it about herself. She didn't lecture or gloat after shutting them down. Instead, she simply reset the moment and moved forward, like nothing had happened. It showed how deeply she values the work behind the scenes, the producers, the camera crew, the staff who keep the show moving while the world is watching. And that's what makes these moments stand out. It's not just about silencing a distraction. It's about defending the space where her team tells stories, asks hard questions, and keeps the show alive.
I mean, we can have as much fun with a subject like that as we can, but at the same time, reminding people that, great things are happening. Not everything everybody wants at the same time is happening, and we're all benefiting. We're all benefiting. The key is to get people in who actually want to benefit the country. If we can do that, we can still have arguments and fights because nobody's going to do it the way that everybody wants it done, but we'll have better standing ground because it's not about your race, it's not about your gender, it's about what's best for the country.
Whether it's a row of shouting protesters or one sneaky phone, she makes it clear, if you interrupt their work, she will stop everything to protect it. After moments like that, she often breaks the tension with a glimpse into her own life, almost like she's reminding everyone she's human too. Right after that clash with the protesters, she casually said that once the cameras stop rolling, she just goes home, takes care of her cat, and does all the regular things she's supposed to do. It was such a stark contrast, 1 minute commanding a chaotic studio, the next talking about feeding her pet like any normal person. That little confession caught people off guard. It stripped away the intimidating aura she had built in those high-stakes moments and showed that behind the sharp commands and steady presence is someone who walks out of the studio and returns to a quiet life. No spotlight, no crowd, just her home, and her routine. It's part of what makes her approach so unique. She doesn't cling to the chaos after it ends. She doesn't dwell on being the one who kept everything from falling apart. She steps off set and lets it all go. And that mindset might be exactly why she's able to stay calm when things explode around her. She can be the anchor during the storm and then simply go back to feeding her cat as if nothing happened. That balance between control and detachment is what keeps her grounded, even when the entire room is spinning. And that grounded nature hasn't come out of nowhere. It's been built over years of sitting in the hot seat herself. After nearly 17 years on the show, she's faced almost every kind of reaction a public figure can get. Cheers, boos, criticism, praise, and everything in between. Viewers come in with strong opinions, ready to agree or tear her apart, and she's learned how to face all of it without flinching. She's been through moments where the crowd disagreed so loudly it drowned out the table, moments where headlines twisted her words, and moments where debates on the panel got so heated they felt like they might erupt. That kind of pressure could crush someone, but she's worn it like armor. Instead of trying to win everyone over, she's focused on something else, saying what she believes, even when it's unpopular. And it shows in how she carries herself on set. She doesn't chase applause or avoid conflict. When she speaks, it's with the weight of someone who's learned that pleasing everyone is impossible, so the only thing that matters is standing firm in her truth. It's why that moment with the phone didn't shake her. She's used to storms, used to eyes on her, used to the heat. If anything, it's where she's strongest, right in the center of the chaos, steady and unshaken while the noise swirls around her. Through all those years, she's developed a clear sense of what the show is really about. For her, it's never been about turning the table into a popularity contest or trying to charm critics into liking her. It's about using that platform to tell the truth as she sees it, even if it sparks arguments, even if it makes some people furious. She said before that the real purpose is to remind viewers that good things are still happening in the world, even if they don't always make the headlines. That balance is what she pushes for, having fun with tough topics while still grounding everything in honesty. It's not about chasing comfort, it's about staying real. When she calls for debates, it's not because she wants chaos, but because she believes honest arguments can push things forward. And she doesn't care who those ideas come from. She's made it clear it's not about race, gender, or any label. It's about finding people who truly want to make the country better and giving them space to speak, even if their methods are messy. She knows no one will ever do things the way everyone wants. And she's fine with that. What matters is getting people who actually care into the conversation. That's the mindset that fuels her every time the table heats up, and it's the same mindset that made her stop the show cold when someone tried to film it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, drop your thoughts in the comments. See you on the next one.